First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista, hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone. Did you have a pause there, Grady?
No, there was no pause.
Oh,
the music was playing out.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, when
I
I turn
couldn't
off
hear
when you turn on the mics, the audio goes off inside the studio. So
you techie
it
guys.
just seems like I'm just sitting here, but no, there's things happening.
Yeah, it was all quiet, and Carol and I just look at you. Was there a pause?
So let's start with Cochise County football. It continues tonight.
It does. 'Tis the season, and tonight we're going to be back in Bisbee, Chris and I, where we're going to be calling the Bisbee Puma game. They're hosting down at historic Warren Ballpark. I was going to say historic, against the Wilcox Cowboys and Cowgirls. Tonight. And Wilcox, I tell you, they thumped on Tombstone last week. So they're here tonight to make a statement. And we called Bisbee last Friday, and kind of had a tough game with Benson. Didn't play a real good ball. We'll see if they can bounce back tonight and with Wilcox. But if Wilcox played like they did last week and Bisbee plays like they did, Wilcox will run with it. But the other game I want to hit on real quick is Buena. Buena's sitting at 4-1. They're in conference play right now, playing Casa Grande with 4-1. Now, on paper, these teams are pretty much equal. They really are. If you look at their strength of their opponents, Casa Grande has not had a very tough schedule, and Buena hasn't had a very tough schedule. So they're both sitting at 4-1. But I'll say it early on. We'll talk more in pregame tonight, pregame on the radio, is the fact that I think Buena is the better team. I do. I think Buena is going to pull this off with ease tonight. I don't think Casa Grande's a team. They are looking at their stats, looking at their opponents, and I think Buena is going to get on the right path. But in 2 weeks, Buena plays Marana. And let me tell you, that's going to be a tough game. Marana's a team to beat in the South. But again, this will be a game for Buena tonight. They got to make a statement tonight. Otherwise, they're going to set back to go to 2 losses. But I don't see that happening. But again, we'll talk more about that at 6:30 tonight for a pregame.
And so with you talking about people light on their feet, holding onto a ball, you also did Dining Under the Stars.
Dining Under the Stars was last Saturday night. It's a University of Arizona Foundation fundraiser. I want to thank everybody that came out to that. Callie Groth and all the committee that put that together. It's a beautiful event. It was a very, very nice event. It's held at the U of A South Foundation, U of A South campus there next to Cochise College, and well attended. It was packed, and I got ride along. So a day with the sheriff. So there was a ride along. Total was over $10,000 to spend a day with me, and it goes to the cause. I don't get nothing out of it. Don't walk away. Oh, what did sheriff make on this? Sheriff don't make no money on this. But actually, I lose money because I got to buy the sodas, the lunch, and things like that, which I do out of my personal pocket. But so thank you for doing that, and thanks for U of A because it's helping so many students in need. And that's what the money goes to help students go to college, go to the university and get a degree and move on in the community. So it's a very positive thing. But nice event last weekend. Thank you.
And the Sierra Vista Police Department hosted the National Night Out.
And what a packed event. We were all there, and it was packed. And people came out from all walks of Sierra Vista to embrace us, to share our time, and all the law enforcement from adult probation, juvenile probation, to the police departments, DPS, AirVac had their helicopter there. I mean, you name it, Forest Service, everybody came out to share the night with the public, and it's a nice one. People just walk around, say hi to you. They got the kiddos out there. I enjoyed it. It was a really good night, and SSVEC had their new trailer out there, and if you haven't seen that display, it's really, really cool, and we're incorporating that into our training, hopefully our training academy. There's a discussion going on right now where, because we deal with it, we're the first responders. We get there, and there's a power line down, a wire laying on the ground. What's that mean to us? Common sense would say you just don't go near it. But sometimes it's not as easy. And so that training kind of really illustrates the reason we don't go near them. And so thank you to SSVC and being a partner with Public Safety. But overall, great event. Thank you, Sierra Vista Police Department.
And the fun continues. So tomorrow and for the rest of all of October, November, December, we have a lot of stuff. But tomorrow is the Fallen Heroes Memorial Ride.
It is, and they're going to start the ride over on Colonial Del Salud, where the Cochise County Sheriff's Office is, our satellite office in Sierra Vista, which is right next to the new hospital, to put it in perspective. But at 8 o'clock, they're going to do a 15-minute ceremony in honor of Jeffrey Brown. Deputy Brown died as a result of an impact, a confrontation during Miracle Valley back in the early 80s, and succumbed to his injuries. So in honor of Jeff and his family, they're going to start the ride there after a few words. I was there last year, or a couple of years ago, they did the same thing. So if you want to come out and ride, if you want to be part of that, or just come out and support the cause, that starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in front of the Sheriff's Office on Colonial Del Salud, and in just support of all our fallen heroes that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. But tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
And Rex Allen Days is also this weekend.
Rex Allen Day, you're looking something to do with the family, the kiddos. That's tomorrow. Starting, I think it starts today actually, but tomorrow is when they have. I think they have a carnival up there. They've always had something. I think they have a carnival up there, and the parade's at 9 o'clock or 10. Carol.
Everybody lines up at 9. I think it starts at 9:30.
9:30. So it's a nice parade up there. So you want something to do tomorrow, and want to take kids to a parade? Rex Allen is the guy going on. Then there's stuff in the park all day long.
They also have a special guest up there. If you watch Fridays with Frank online, it's out of Pinal County. Very popular on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check out Fridays with Frank. But Frank is actually going to visit us at Wilcox Rex Allen Days.
He is. He's coming down to on his own time. He's not actually coming down, but he's going to be selling some merchandise down there with one of the vendors. But Frank and I spoke this week. Frank's actually going to come down and spend a day with the Sheriff's Office. I talked to Sheriff Lamb, then I talked to Frank. But Frank's going to come down, spend some time with us, do some ride-alongs with us down here. And there's a young man that he's like 9 years old, one of our sergeant's son, that really wants to meet Officer Frank. So we're going to make that happen too for him. But yeah, we're going to have him down here. So if you see Officer Frank running around, and if you haven't seen him on video, it's ironic, Frank. He's very frank with people. He calls out stupidity in a very professional way. I'm not being a jerk when I say that, but he really does. And but he's a really good cop, and as a result of that, people just are really. He's got a great following. Let's just be honest. So I'm looking forward to having him down here.
And so, speaking of people coming, we also had some Ohio sheriffs coming, or that came this week, and they wanted to get into the backstory of the challenges that we actually deal with in relation to the border here in Cochise County, and do the border tour, do a ride along as part of our Borders to Backyards program. So they were here, and you got to meet up with them.
Right, and along with the sheriff, there was a mayor, there was a state representative, and I had Mayor McCall come over and meet his counterpart from Ohio, the mayor, and then I had Gil Griffin meet the state rep. And then, of course, I spent time with the sheriff. So it was a really nice event. And again, this is just part of our Borders to Backyards program, where people come from all over the country. Number one, to share each other. We share their communities. They share us. But then we talk about the border. The border is an instrumental discussion point when they come. But to see it, too. We can talk about the border. It's like me talking about Ohio, but never being there. So sharing all that. I mean, we're embracing as leaders, state, local, and federal, to make things better. So it's a great program.
And we just found a new stat, speaking of the border, that there have been 12 deaths already this year in our desert.
And that's what we know of, Grady. And these are the recoveries. These are not the ones that died in car crashes, or these are ones that died of primarily exposure. Come across the border, or came across the border illegally and died, and I hate to say it, horrific deaths. Truly, where their body has been found. Our search and rescue team, which is, you hear me say search and rescue, but it's also a recovery team. So 12 migrants have been found this year out in our county, in the desert, up in the mountains, however you want to look at it, mainly in the deserts. So it's just, I think it's a staggering number. It's 12 human lives that we pulled out of the desert. I mean, think about any county in the Midwest or anywhere else that pulled 10 bodies lay in the desert. That would be headlines. Trust me, it'd be headlines. Here, nobody cares. And I mean that when I say nobody cares. Why is that not news? And you look at the collective numbers along the southwest border from Texas to California, that number is staggering. It's truly staggering, especially in Brooks County, Texas, which is kind of leads it. It's a tier 2 county, which means it's off the border, one county, and they lead it. I mean, they have mobile trailers, refrigerated trailers with bodies in them. That's how many they have there. So we're fortunate we don't see it to that magnitude when it comes to the bodies. And most of our bodies come this time of year because of hunting season, where you have hunters out in the desert, up in the mountains, and that's when they find these bodies. We get called. And a lot of times, by the time we get to them, we find pieces. because wildlife will come in there and pull the bodies away, and we'll find a femur or a skull or something like that. So, and again, that's an impact. Let's just be real. When these recovery teams go out there, the detectives go out there, and you're pulling up femurs or bodies have been decayed. I hate to say it like that, but it's not a good sight. I'll just say that.
And you were busy yesterday with another jail district meeting, and congratulations on the movement of that.
It is. It's moving. So where it's at now, and I want to make sure I give an update because some of the people I've talked to, when I give it my sodas or I run into them, say, hey, we want to know more about the jail. So I want to make sure we're doing more of these. So I got interviewed yesterday by a company that's actually doing the feasibility study. So what that means is this. They're looking at 6 different sites. They're looking at how many beds, pretty much the whole build. What's it going to look like when we build it, and where should it go? So they got 6 sites that have been mentioned over the last couple of years, that each site's being looked at, being examined, looking at where the future is going to be when it comes to population in Cochise County. You name it, this company is looking at all of it. And they're talking to police chiefs, they're talking to myself as the sheriff, judges, the courts, all of it. I mean, and looking at different processes, and then by May, we'll have this done in May. That's their timeline, and you probably say that's a long time. There's a lot of work going into this. And so May, their final report, there'll be some community meetings, from what I'm being told, some community meetings by this group. And this is what they do. This is not something we just grab a couple people, hey, you want to go out? No, this is what they do. So there'll be community meetings come up around February, I believe, is what they told me. And then May, they'll have their final report, and then decisions will be made from there. And they'll have recommendations. And then after that happens, then we go into start the building the jail. They'll start putting the jail together. And then we move from there. So you're looking about 3 years, actually about 3 years here. So maybe 28, 29 when this jail will finally come to a reality. And I'm excited about that. I truly am so excited, because even they said to me yesterday, because they've been spending, that's what they're doing every day in the county somewhere. But they told me yesterday, they said, your jail is so outdated and it's in bad shape. And I said, we keep telling everybody that. And anybody who goes in there agrees with us. You cannot disagree. In fact, just take a ride down to the Bisbee Sheriff's Office and look at all the maintenance trucks out there. That's just to keep the facility going. That's how bad it is. And so when I tell them it is, but the problem is nobody has an answer besides what we have in front of them already. And let me just say this, I think it's important. What's it going to cost them a year per citizen here in Cochise County? The cost is minimum of $40 up to $67 per year. $40 to $67 per year. Average that out, $50 a year to have a new jail. $50 a year. I mean, that's any more, and I get it. I'm not being ill when I say this. That's a meal at a fast food. It really is. So, but it's a quality of life issue. It's a safety issue for the men and women that work in there. My number one priority, and last but not least, it's a safety issue, resource issue for our inmates. So those are the top 3 that you all wanted in the county when they did the survey: quality of life, officer safety, and inmate safety.
And coming up in November, we've got the Cochise County Sheriff's Charity Ride, and that's going to help out 5 local charities this year.
Yeah, and we're excited about it. It's coming quick. It's truly coming quick here. In fact, less than a month, we're going to be having the charity ride. This year, $10,000 each. We're giving out $50,000 thanks to community support. Let me say that. Community support to Just Kids, Inc., Cochise Serving Veterans, Benson, Douglas Shop with a Cop, Hero Paws, and Wilcox Quarterback Club, which helps all the youth sports up in the Wilcox area. So we're excited to do that. And this year we're going to do motorcycles, side-by-sides, off-road vehicles, but also classic cars. If you want to bring your classic car and take a ride, and maybe go, we'll have designated routes, but you don't have to do the whole route. But go maybe part way and stop and have lunch and come on back. But so we're throwing a little extra in there for the classic cars, see how that works out this year.
And there's going to be lots of raffles as well, where they raise money for, and they use things like safes and gun safes and toolboxes and like GoPros and laptops and goods and services. So there's a lot of raffles there as well.
Each raffle, I believe, is worth a minimum of $500. I think that's so important. So Sergeant McNeely and his committee, they do so much to put this together. But the reason we put it together is to give it back to the community. And our partners, Berg's Heating and Cooling is our partner on this. Morse Automotive, I got to make sure I say that right. Sean and Kate Lawley had done that for years with us. But now we got Ted Morris and the Morse family doing this with us this year. So, again, we're excited to push it forward.
And you can get your tickets for the charity ride at coaches.az.gov/sheriff.
And on, I guess, more somber note, there's a situation where we were talking that we have a lot of people within the organization that coach. Like, they interact with kids for the betterment of the communities. So there's a dozen people that actually act as coaches for a variety of things, soccer, wrestling, football, all kinds of things, baseball. There was a situation, a very sad situation in Douglas, where there was a young boy who was coached by one of our lieutenants at our detention facility, Lieutenant Monhe, and he passed away. So they're having a fundraiser Sunday, and it's just sad to see those kinds of things happen.
One thing we've pushed really hard, it's a cultural thing within the sheriff's office that we've all said, is that we go out and we integrate into our communities. We're neighbors. We're all neighbors here as a sheriff's office. People forget that, these are cops. Well, we're also your neighbors. So we've pushed hard to make sure that we're integrated into, especially youth sports, youth activities. So we probably have half a dozen to a dozen of our staff members that coach around Cochise County in one way or another, like you said, Carol. Well, my Lieutenant Mohe, who works in our jail, actually coaches youth football down in Douglas, and this 12-year-old who's no longer with us passed away here. I think it was last Friday. I talked to Lieutenant Mohe yesterday and spent some time with him. He's taking this really hard. That was the quarterback on his little youth football team. So he's taking that really hard, and you overthink it. Everybody thinks, well, these are cops. They deal with this every day. They don't think twice about this. Yes, we do. And the fact that you're also human beings, and that's why we do, because we're passionate about our communities. We're passionate about our youth. And so there's going to be a fundraiser on that. But I want to thank all our men and women that go out and do the extras in our communities, whether it's, I got Search and Rescue, Sheriff's Assist team working the art in the park this weekend. In fact, I heard them checking out there this morning. So one day goes by, or a weekend goes by. Yesterday I saw our Sheriff's Assist team doing a funeral escort for a veteran. Every day there's some kind of outreach going on like that. So when something like this happens, that Lieutenant Mohe, who's bonding with these young kids to make them better, something like that, a big loss like that, especially a 12-year-old, it hits hard. So again, my heart goes out to the family in Douglas on this, and the Douglas community, my lieutenant, and all of them. God bless them all. That's a tough time.
And for your safety message today, enlighten us to what a gore line is.
Well, it goes back to a traffic stop I had this week. So I'm at Buffalo Soldier Trail and Highway 92. So I'm facing north, getting ready to turn left. But it was 7:30 in the morning. Traffic was backed up on the 2 lanes, so I can't get into the left turn lane. So you guys got to wait the traffic flow on the green light, get you up there. We've all been there. Well, here comes a car coming down the left turn lane. Now that left turn lane is not a merged lane. It's a left turn lane. You pull in and take a left. Well, this vehicle made it a travel lane. Just came flying up the lane, passing all the cars, and into the left turn lane. Now, if you notice, and a lot of people don't, the painted areas, it's painted, solid white lines, you can't get in that. It's called the gore line. And another example is when you come off Highway 90 on I-10, and you come on the on-ramp, and it directs you to keep going until the solid line goes away, and you move in. You can merge now into the travel lane. Well, if you cut through that painted area, it's called the gore area. Same as on BST 92. That is illegal, completely illegal. It's all about safety. So I stopped the car and had a discussion. And she was very nice, but she made the comment about, well, it's frustrating because frustration is part of what we talk about almost every Friday on this show. Patience, and that's how people get hurt, and that's why we have the accidents we do, is usually because somebody's trying to hurry up and get somewhere. But I just want to make sure people understand that those painted areas, they're called gore areas, you can't drive through them. And years back, there was a DPS officer in the gore area. That car did the same thing and killed the trooper. So again, we're very sensitive to that. It's all about safety, but if you get caught driving through a gore area where there's solid white lines painted out, that is illegal.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Well, Grady, Carol, thank you guys so much for what you do, and thank you for the community for all your support for those who wear a badge. See you next Friday.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest from Lori's Place and the Sierra Vista Police Department. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, let's talk about Lori's Place. Remind us what Lori's Place does.
So Lori's Place works with victims of violent crimes. We take care of victims of abuse, sexual assault, rape, neglect, human trafficking, domestic violence is the big one right now. We collect evidence basically to assist the police department and sheriff's department with prosecution. We also offer peer support advocacy, so we're kind of a one-stop shop to help victims from the beginning to the end when they're ready to walk away and move on.
And I know the answer to this question, but how are you funded and how can people help you?
So we are funded solely through grants, fundraising, and donations. So the best way that people can help us is to go on our website. If they want to donate, they can donate through our website. We are also selling rooms at Lori's Place, so you can sponsor a room, and your name will be on a plaque outside of that room for the time that we are in business. And we have our giving tree. We have leaves, rocks, everything on our giving tree that you can purchase. There's a lot of different ways to donate. And so if you have any questions, you can definitely contact us at 520-515-4444 or go to lorisplaceaz.org.
And we'll put out that phone number and website again a little bit later as well, so if you need to grab a pen. So we've got an event coming up called Faith in Blue. What is that?
Faith in Blue, yeah. It actually kicks off today at Lori's Place. The event starts at noon and goes till 3 p.m. And Faith in Blue weekend, basically it works to build bridges for better communities by bringing together law enforcement and the faith-based leaders of the community. We kind of work in partnership a little bit to kind of understand what each other does and how we can better support each other for the community. It's a good basis to have, in case something negative does happen. We've got partnerships with the faith-based community to work through those issues and move forward. And the past couple of years, we've partnered up with Lori's Place to draw attention to that amazing institution because it is so important for Cochise County to have something like Lori's Place here. We talked about the domestic violence, sexual abuse, or something like that, and those are the primary services that they offer. But I can tell you from a personal note, one of the worst days I ever had in law enforcement, I called Lori's Place for some support, and within an hour I had 2 representatives at Lori's Place to help out with this situation. And basically it was a young man that lost his wife and mother-in-law within hours of each other, and he had an infant that he was trying to take care of. And Lori's Place came in, basically took over and helped this man deal with the situations that he had to deal with as far as making arrangements for his wife, for his mother-in-law, and then care for his child. And they have stayed in touch with this man, and this man has stayed in touch with Lori's Place over the past couple of years. And it's just one of those things that you don't see, but it happens almost every day, these types of things. And Lori's Place comes in and helps out. And this wasn't one of their normal things that they do. It was kind of like, okay, we've got a situation, this man needs help, what resources can we do? They drove this guy to Tucson countless times to visit with his wife before she actually passed away, help with daycare for the child. Again, I said made funeral arrangements for the mother-in-law and his wife, and they did a tremendous job. The resources that they have are invaluable, and we need to keep them in our community. So it's very important, you know, if someone's looking to give, to think about Lori's Place. And a great way to come out is, or to look at it, is come out today and see what they do. It's going to be a great event. I think we've got barbecue for lunch.
Gunny's Barbecue.
Gunny's Barbecue for lunch.
It's going to be there, yes. So we've got food from Gunny's, and he has been great. He's got his trailer that he's going to set up in the back, and we're going to have some excellent food. We love Gunny to death because he's very supportive of Lori's Place. So there's another one I'm going to tell you, if you guys are hungry, go to Gunny's, please, because he's great.
Yeah, and they're also going to have a guest speaker, and this is an individual that has gone through the services of Lori's Place and come out much brighter on the other side. And this person's going to tell their story. What time will that take place?
I'm not sure on the time. It's probably going to be sometime between noon and 1. I've got to see what time he makes it. I talked to him yesterday, so. But I'm expecting somewhere probably closer to about 1 o'clock-ish.
So if you're interested, come out to Lori's Place. It's located at 214 East Tacoma Street in Sierra Vista. You'll have to park on the road or whatever, and maybe a block or so away, because parking is limited. But you know, come out around noon and see what Lori's Place is all about, and you know, meet some amazing people.
And you also wanted to talk about a new campaign while you were here.
Yes, so October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so we decided with Faith in Blue we were going to kick off our Take a Stand with Survivors Against Domestic Violence campaign. Domestic violence, obviously there's the mental and the emotional abuse that can happen with domestic violence, which we can help with. We've got our peer support, our advocates. They will do court filings and orders of protection, that kind of stuff. But also, we can do medical exams. So if somebody is in a domestic violence situation and they need a forensic medical exam done, they can contact us. We are the only place this side of, I believe, Phoenix to have this really cool camera. It's called a Cortex Flow, and it can pick up bruising under the skin that the naked eye cannot see. So if somebody comes in and tells us that they have been choked or that they've been, you know, physically held in some way, and we don't see bruising, or say they go to the ER and they don't see bruising, they're going to document what they see, what they find, and then, of course, what you say. We can pull out the camera and we can get pictures of the bruising underneath the skin to support the victim's case. So we're doing a big campaign right now that if you're law enforcement, first responders, the ER, you know, if somebody calls and they want to know if they should go to the ER or come to Lori's Place, if they are medically stable, we want them to call Lori's Place to come for that exam so that we can get all of that evidence collected for, you know, if they decide to prosecute and press charges. So, and plus we have, again, the follow-up care. We've got the peer support. We've got the victim advocacy. We will help you get an order of protection. We can get you a safe place to stay. And we've all been through something at Lori's Place, so we're all survivors, and we want to help you go through that process of being a victim to becoming a survivor.
So if people that are listening want to use your services or help or donate, how can they get a hold of you at Lori's Place?
So we have a 24-hour line. It's called our crisis line, but you can call it anytime, 520-515-4444. Or you can go to our website at lori'splaceaz.org. We are also on Facebook at Lori's Place Lori's Place AZ 2022, and we have Instagram and such as well. So you can contact us through any of those. You can actually, if you don't want to call and you're better with emailing, you can go to our website. You can email us through our website.
And go ahead and invite us out to Faith in Blue one more time with locations and times.
All right. Faith in Blue today starts at 12 and goes to 3 p.m. It's located at 214 East Tacoma Street here in Sierra Vista.
Well, we thank you both for what you do in our community, and thanks for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady.
Thank you, Grady.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook and tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.